kingdom come. I believe now it's up to 25,000 people. There's like 17,000 are children. Babies, children, women, elderly. They're killed. Most of them are civilians. Like I said, dropping bombs on cities, on hospitals, schools, apartment buildings is a punk move. That's a real punk move. They're doing it because they're exterminating. Alright? Bombs on cities, on hospitals, schools, apartment buildings is a punk move. That's a real punk move. They're doing it because they're exterminating. Alright? That's Revelation chapter 12 and 12. Satan has but a short time. And he's bringing in a one world order. Like going back to that movie, a one world order. Like going back to that movie, leave the rule behind. Right in the beginning of the movie, there's 3 clocks. 666. Because they're going to bring out the CHIP. Every time I bring out videos about the 666, they delete them. Because they don't want you to know the truth.
That force in the universe is going to cut you down. Now, we got Germany evacuating their citizens from Lebanon. We have one of the biggest attacks in Iran's history. Okay, biggest terrorist attacks, killing 103 people, hundreds of casualties. They're chanting death to America in Iran right now. It feels like just yesterday I was saying that nothing is ever going to happen. I was having passing thoughts of that, but yet tomorrow would come and I'm sure, some event would happen, and here we go. Now, you have to ask yourself, because of course from the Iranian perspective, even if this was chalked up as ISIS related, of course, from their perspective, they believe that ISIS was a creation or in some way funded by Western intelligence agencies, including the Mossad. Now, I'm not going to speculate much on that, but what we do know is that they're blaming the Americans and the Israelis for this attack. So the question is, let's just entertain them for a second. If that is true, that is the case, would we be trying to provoke some sort of response to justify our going to war with the country? Because you see, in the current climate, we've basically used up all our karma from October 7th, okay? The Israelis, they blew their load way too quick. I mean, I don't know why there wasn't somebody there saying, hey, this is an opportunity. Okay, look, you have now a blank check to pretty much do whatever you want. Use it wisely. Don't spend it all in one place. Don't just go indiscriminately bombing a place because you can, because there will be repercussions. Okay, the people of the world eventually will push back, which is what they did in the largest protest ever before seen, probably in humankind's history, across the world. So they burned that credit card. They wrote checks, and now they're bankrupt in terms of public sympathy. So how do they get that back? How can they just repercussions? Okay, the people of the world eventually will push back, which is what they did in the largest protest ever before seen, probably in humankind's history, across the world. So they burned that credit card. They wrote checks, and now they're bankrupt in terms of public sympathy. So how do they get that back? How can they justify going to war with Hezbollah? Well, they have to be doing these things in order to provoke a massive response. Unfortunately for them, if this is the case, and again, this is all hypothetical, right? Please don't cancel me, YouTube. Not yet. We're not quite at that World War III apex yet. So I gotta stay on deck as long as possible. Now, if I was them, I would be trying to poke the bears. Okay, and what they're trying to do right now, it seems, is provoke a response from the Iranians, from not so much the Houthis, but because the Houthis don't need any provocation, but nobody seems to care. Well, actually they do, and they've given their final ultimatum, that USA-led coalition. But you have to do something major, yet Nasrallah And all of the leaders of these various groups are not taking the bait. And so they're left in this situation where, what do we do? You know, and the last ditch Hail Mary that you can do under these circumstances, and I'm not saying this is the case, I'm just saying that this is something that I would do if I was very evil and I could pull a lot of strings and maybe my name was on that list. I would say, well, can't we just create something? Can't we just create a problem? Can't we just create a crisis? Like a big crisis? Like, hey, how about we, okay, we got these nuclear power plants. How about we pretend?
Oh, yeah, why is that? Construction is booming everywhere. The industry can't keep up with the demands. The way the world is now, all of civilization is just burning down. People don't want to go outside. They want to fix up their homes. They want to turn them into fortresses. Now people are moving out of the city, I guess. Funny how that's happening. It's the fourth turning. Big pardon? Historical events, they don't just happen. They're set into motion by great men, generational personae. And each one of these unleashes a turning that lasts about 20 years, more or less. And every 4 turnings is a seculum, which is about the length of a human life. And at the end of each, there's a crisis. In this country, the crisis is always war. Revolution, 80 years later, Civil War. 80 years later, World War II. And that's coming up on 80 years now, so. Something's about to happen.
So we have some major breaking news coming in from the Middle East. We have multiple countries now asking their citizens to leave Lebanon. And yesterday I reported that Canada and Germany have instructed their citizens to leave Lebanon. And now today we have some more countries. We have Britain and Denmark officially asking their citizens to leave Lebanon. And the U.S. military targeted a logistics base of some Iranian proxies in Iraq. I want to summarize the leader of Hezbollah's speech yesterday, Nasrallah. And I have some other breaking news coming in from Asia. We have North Korea making more threats against the U.S. So I want to just first start with a very sad story here.